don't happen to like it, but I want to acknowledge the science is there.
What is the advice that you wish you'd gotten at my age that you didn't get?
The most important thing is probably keep betting on yourself and bet again and roll the dice and roll the dice. What happens as you get older is you realize that these opportunities were in front of you and you didn't jump for them. Why? You were in a bad mood, or you didn't know who to call, or so forth. Life can be understood as a series of opportunities that are put before you, and they're time limited. I was fortunate that I got the call after a number of people had turned it down to work for and with Larry and Sergey at Google. Changed my life, right? But that was luck and timing. My one friend on the board at the moment said, I was very thankful to him, and he said, but you did one thing right. I said, what? He said, you said yes. So your philosophy in life should be to say yes to that opportunity. And yes, it's painful, and yes, it's difficult, and yes, you have to deal with your family, and yes, you have to travel to some foreign place and so forth. Get on the airplane and get it done.
What's the hardest challenge you've dealt with in your life?
Well, on the personal side, I've had a set of personal problems and tragedies, like everyone does. I think on a business context, there were moments at Google where we had control over an industry that we didn't execute well. The most obvious one is social media. At the time when Facebook was founded, we had a system which we called Orkut, which was really, really interesting. And somehow we did everything well, but we missed that one, right? And I would have preferred, and I'll take responsibility for that.
We have a closing tradition on this podcast where the last guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who they're going to be leaving it for. And the question left for you is, what is your non-negotiable, something you do that significantly improves everyday life?
Well, what I try to do is I try to be online, and I also try to keep people honest. Every day you hear all sorts of ideas and so forth, half of which are right, half of which are wrong. I try to make sure I know the truth as best we can determine it.
Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's such an honor. Your books have shaped my thinking in so many important ways. And I think your new book, Genesis, is the single best book I've read on the subject of AI, because you take a very nuanced approach to these subject matters. And I think sometimes it's tempting to be binary in your way of thinking about this technology, the pros and the cons, but your writing, your videos, your work takes this really balanced but informed approach to it. I have to say, as an entrepreneur, the $1 Trillion Coach book is what I highly recommend everybody goes and reads, because it's just a really great manual of being a leader in the modern age and an entrepreneur. I'm going to link all 5 of these books in the comments section below. The new book, Genesis, comes out in the US, I believe, on the 19th of November. I don't have the UK date, but I'll find it and I'll put it in. But it's a book, it's a critically important book that nobody should avoid. I've been searching for answers that are contained in this book for a very, very long time. I've been having a lot of conversations on this podcast in search of some of these answers, and I feel clearer about myself, my future, but also the future of society because I've read this book. So thank you for writing it.
And thank you. And let's thank Dr. Kissinger. He finished the last chapter in his last week of life in his deathbed. That's how profound he thought that this book was. And all I'll tell you is that he wanted to set us up for a good next 50 years. Having lived for so long and seen both good and evil, he wanted to make sure we continue the good progress we're making as a society.
Is there anything he would want to say?
Any answer he gave would take 5 minutes.
A remarkable man. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you into a little bit of a secret. And you're probably going to think that I'm a little bit weird for saying this, but our team are our team because we absolutely obsess about the smallest things. Even with this podcast, when we're recording this podcast, we measure the CO2 levels in the studio because if it gets above 1,000 parts per million, cognitive performance dips. This is the type of 1% improvement we make on our show. And that is why the show is the way it is. By understanding the power of compounding 1%, you can absolutely change your outcomes in your life. It isn't about drastic transformations or quick wins. It's about the small, consistent actions that have a lasting change on your outcomes. So 2 years ago, we started the process of creating this beautiful diary, and it's truly beautiful. Inside, there's lots of pictures, lots of inspiration and motivation as well, some interactive elements. And the purpose of this diary is to help you identify, stay focused on, develop consistency with the 1% that will ultimately change your life.